Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. Tasmania has received a brutal assessment in an annual report card into public hospitals, considered among the worst performing in the country. State health ministers urged to increase investment, with wait times the worst on record and EDs suffering severe access block.
A crippling health report showing patients who need planned surgery are waiting longer than ever.
That we're seeing patients waiting in pain, with disability, unable to work or participate in their family lives because they're waiting too long for these essential surgeries.
The Australian Medical Association releasing its annual public hospital report card. Tasmania considered one of the worst performing states overall, with all health ministers urged to commit to a $4 billion plan to cure the sector.
We've got a lack of funding straight out, and the AMA has been calling for a 50-50 split of funding, for an increase of funding, especially from the federal government.
The report also giving EDs an F when it comes to access block. The national average of patients being seen on time is at the lowest level in the past decade.
Elderly patients sitting in plastic chairs for hours. We are seeing patients getting intravenous fluids and antibiotics in waiting rooms. We are resuscitating people in corridors.
And with flu season upon us, experts expect attendance at public hospitals to skyrocket. The Liberals say Tasmania's public hospitals saw more than 21,000 elective surgeries last year. That's 34% more than 2020. It's also put in more hospital beds and health professionals, but admit there's still work to do.
So we look forward to working with the federal government to get better solutions faster.
Prime Minister put on the table $1.2 billion of a commitment for short-term funding to be delivered in ways that would alleviate pressure on our hospital system.
Life support needed sooner rather than later. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Controversial harness trainer Ben Yole has been slapped with a ban by Tas Racing. Along with 3 of his associates, the organisation's board has endorsed warning off notices for the Sidmouth trainer alleged to have engaged in race fixing and poor animal welfare practices. The ban's initially been imposed for 45 days, pending an investigation by a stewards panel convened after the Murray report was handed in. Ben Yole was contacted for comment. A Labor candidate and a former Tasmanian of the Year, John Kamara, is soldiering on with his campaign for election to the Legislative Council, despite being the target of a racist attack. He and candidates across 3 upper house electorates are out to win over voters a fortnight out from polling.
Hoping to fill the upper house seat of Hobart, John Kamara says door knocking is the best way.
From voters, what I've been hearing is about they haven't been listened to.
But the former Tasmanian of the Years had to contend with racist comments thrown at him online during the campaign.
It is wrong and it's very hurtful. And it's caused harm to me, caused harm to my family, it's caused harm to the community.
He's received an outpouring of support from fellow candidates and community leaders. Independent Charlie Burton's finding strong support for those outside of the parties.
They can see that you get more value with an independent. They also understand that independents will do the proper, thorough work of scrutinising the work of not just the government but all members of the lower house.
Hobart is one of 3 upper house electorates to be filled on May 4, along with Prosser and Elwick.
People are really concerned about housing, about transport and the issue of accountability and transparency in the local council.
Glenorchy Mayor Beck Thomas says her track record is resonating with voters. She's advocating for a breast screening facility in the northern suburbs.
Only 58% of women get a breast screen as a preventative measure, and early detection we know can save lives, so that's something that I'll continue to advocate for.
Currently, the Legislative Council is finely balanced, with 3 Liberals, 3 Labor and 6 Independents. The result of these 3 elections could help tilt it one way or the other. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Homelessness, once a plight of less developed countries, is now entrenched in Australia. In Tasmania, the crisis is continuing to deepen, with cost of living and a lack of affordable housing fuelling the problem. Melinda Ogden reports.
Homelessness has become a face of 21st century Australia. No state in the country is immune from the crisis, and in Tasmania it's becoming a growing problem. Margaret is in her 70s and recently joined those sleeping rough after losing her rental accommodation.
I know a lot of people here and a lot of people down the river. We're all in the same situation. And the point is that no one's bothering to lift a hand to help.
Becoming homeless doesn't discriminate on race or gender. Women are particularly vulnerable.
Like, I used to work and someone stole all my money, so I ended up losing my house and having to live on the street. It's been probably about 6 years now.
Along the banks of the Tamar River on the outskirts of Launceston, these caravans and makeshift structures provide shelter for a community of homeless people. While the views may be spectacular, it's little solace for those trying to keep warm.
It's cold coming off that river. A morning, few nights I just sleep in my clothes, sprung up.
The swanky Silo Hotel towers above those sleeping rough on the riverbank, a scene which has become commonplace across the state. While these people at least have a source of power, there's little else of comfort.
People also drive their cars around and around just to keep warm, and they spend a lot of money on petrol if they've got the means to have a vehicle. Otherwise, yeah, that's just basically nylon tent and the ground. We need more beds for people, especially coming into this winter.
Kirsten estimates there are at least 300 people sleeping rough on the streets of Launceston alone, with 10 people a day becoming homeless across the state as the cost of living crisis escalates. Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
Hobart Council is on the hunt for its next junior mayor to run sessions with other kids who care about the big issues facing them, including climate change, transport and screen time. Child Mayor Olive Nilsson says the job has many perks.
It was really fun to put on the robes every time and pretend that I was the mayor.
20% of our population are children and young people, and they deserve to have as much of a say and as much of a role in the decisions of our city.
The winning students will be honoured in Children's Week in October.
Both 2 from 2 so far this TSL season. The undefeated run will come to an end for either Clarence or Kinborough when they face off tomorrow. Clarence's hopes of continuing their solid run are buoyed by the return of veteran root Jake Cox from a 2-year absence.
Just want to go out there, play his role, start to bring other players into the game. He's elite by foot, really good goal sense, so hopefully impact the scoreboard a little bit for us.
It's an extra special match for both clubs, playing for the Godomsky-Rewalt Trophy in the annual Bone Marrow Failure Syndrome Awareness Game. It's raising money for research into the disease. The trophy is named after Maddie Rewalt and Alex Godomsky, who both passed away in their 20s.
It's just continuing his legacy. Like, his battle was pretty brutal, so he did show a lot of courage in that, and yeah, it's just nice having this in place to reflect on as well.
Fittingly, Lockie Godomsky notches up his 100th TSL appearance in the game that's dedicated to his brother. Kaylee McEwen won't even consider racing the 400 metres individual medley at the Paris Olympics, despite smashing Stephanie Rice's national record at the Australian Championships by more than a second and without tapering for race mode.
She's good again tonight. Kaylee McEwen, she gets there and she has it.
Does this mean we get to see you at trials in the 400 IM?
Nope. One and done, so that's me.
Ariane Titmus qualified second, Talani Pallister for the 400 freestyle. Former Hobart swimmer Matilda Smith will race finals in the 200 metre breaststroke shortly, qualifying 3rd fastest in the preliminaries earlier today. Noah Camprad contests the 800 metre freestyle tonight after finishing 5th in the 1500 metre free last night. And defending Tasmanian Open champion Simon Hawkes is off to a slow start as Alex Edge leads standings after day 1 at Launceston Golf Club. At 4 under, the New South Welshman is just 1 shot clear of Tasmanian Scott Priest, who managed an eagle on a par 4. Queenslander Tim Hart's in a tie for 3rd with Victorian Kyle Michelle on 2 under.
Good evening. After early morning showers in the south and east, cloud persisted about much of the state during the morning until it cleared to a mostly sunny afternoon. Hobart 16 today, Launceston and Burnie 18, 19 in Devonport. Smithton 19, Low Head Bushy Park, King and Flinders Island all 18. Grove 17, St Helens, Friendly Beaches, Maria Island and Strawn all 16, Lyowini 11 degrees. Cloud is clearing from parts of the east to mostly clear skies across the state. An onshore flow is pushing low cloud about Victoria and South Australia as a mid-level cloud band passes through New South Wales. Tomorrow's chart shows a large high-pressure system persisting over much of the country as troughs lie through New South Wales and the northwest coast of WA. Northwest to southwesterly winds 15 to 25 knots, reaching up to 30 knots about the south, with southwesterly swells building to 3 metres in the west and south. A strong wind warning is in place for coastal waters between Tasman Island to Low Rocky Point. Partly cloudy in Hobart tomorrow, 19. Cloudy also in Medina, 15. 18 and mostly sunny in Oatlands. Sunny skies in Launceston, 21. Devonport, 19. An overnight low of 0 degrees in Lyowini tonight, but tomorrow they're expecting a top of 15 degrees. Fine and sunny in Burnie, 19. Cloudy skies for Strawn and Marrawar, expecting at 16. A lovely day on the way for St Helens and Swansea, 19. Mostly sunny also in Orford, 20's the top there. Sunday, light showers about the west with possible morning fog. Monday, those light showers continue about the west with possible afternoon showers, which are likely in the north. Tuesday, showers more frequent about the west. Here's what's happening further north tomorrow. Rain increasing in Brisbane, 25. Partly cloudy conditions expected for Melbourne and Canberra, 33 and sunny in Darwin. Right now across the state, looking relatively clear in Hobart 11, also Launceston 13 and clear also in Devonport with 13. Have a lovely weekend, Kim, and Peter Murphy will return on Monday.